The video was about cybersecurity, how systems get hacked, how they're protected, and how firewalls work. As Junior watched, something clicked inside him. He became obsessed with locks. Not with metal locks, but digital ones, passwords, encryptions, backdoors. He wanted to understand how people broke into systems and how they could be stopped. The idea of protecting something, of building invisible walls to keep others out, fascinated him deeply. To Junior, it felt like learning how to build a home that no one could ever kick him out of. By the time he turned 20, Junior had taught himself how to code. Not through school. He couldn't afford a course. His wallet barely ever had more than 200 in it, so he became his own teacher. During the day, he would walk miles to public libraries in town, spending hours flipping through outdated programming books. Some pages were torn, some books had coffee stains, but he devoured them. At night, he roamed places that still had lights and internet restaurants, hotel lobbies, and sometimes petrol stations with small cyber cafes. He would sit on the floor beside closed glass doors, plugging his laptop into an outlet if he found one, and stay there coding until a security guard chased him off or the power went out. There was a time he hadn't eaten all day, and yet, when a hotel staff gave him a meat pie out of pity, he politely declined. He was debugging a piece of code and didn't want to lose focus. Bit by bit, one broken line of code at a time, Junior began shaping a new life. Soon he started browsing job boards on freelance websites, using a cracked browser and an ancient operating system. He didn't wait for big jobs, he hunted the small ones. A hotel in Ibadan needed help fixing their booking site. Junior offered to do it for half the price just for experience. A barbershop in Port Harcourt complained of slow systems. Junior helped remove viruses through remote access. He even fixed login issues for students trying to register for WAEC exams. The pay was low, sometimes nothing at all. But to Junior, every job was a stepping stone. Every satisfied client, a silent cheerleader. Every late night, every rejection, every sleepless night spent under buzzing streetlights was worth it. There was a night the rain poured hard, and Junior had no umbrella, no jacket. He wrapped his laptop in a nylon bag, hugged it close to his chest, and crouched under a kiosk until morning. Why? Because he had a deadline to deliver a website for a local pharmacy. He fell sick afterwards, but he delivered the job. Then, he had an idea. He started working on his own app. He named it Smart Lock, a security application that could detect false login attempts and immediately alert the phone or computer owner. It wasn't perfect yet, but it worked. And it was his. He didn't have a company yet. No fancy office, no team, no investors, just a vision and hunger. A deep, quiet hunger to build something real. At 23, Junior did something most people his age wouldn't dare. He saved every single penny he earned. No new clothes, no fancy meals, just survival and purpose. With that little savings, he started building a brand. It wasn't much, just a name. A basic logo he designed himself using free tools online. But to him, it was a kingdom. He even created a simple website where people could see how the Smart Lock software worked, a space to show that his dream was alive. He didn't have an office. He didn't even have a desk, just a spot on the corner of a friend's garage, where he sat every day coding, dreaming, building. Alone, but not hopeless. He began reaching out to investors, one email at a time, sending messages to every address he could find online. Every day, he sat in front of his small borrowed laptop, drafting proposals, attaching pitch decks, and waiting, hoping. He made cold calls to tech companies, most of which barely answered the phone. Some cut the call the moment they heard his voice. Still, he didn't stop. He even walked into different tech companies in person, carrying his printed proposal in a small brown envelope, even though he knew no one inside. He would wait at reception areas for hours, hoping someone, anyone, would give him 5 minutes. But none did. They either ignored him or smiled politely and said they'd get back to him. They never did. Some of them called him ambitious, but not in a good way. It was the kind of ambition people mocked. A few laughed right in his face. Others said, "Your idea is smart, but it will never scale up. You don't have the face of success." They looked at his faded shirt, his scuffed shoes, his simple tone, and already made their decision. He didn't wear a designer suit. He didn't drive a car. And to them, that meant he couldn't possibly build something big. He looked too young, too broke, too ordinary. But they couldn't see what he carried inside, an extraordinary dream. But not everyone laughed. There was one woman who didn't. Her name was Raquel, a private investor from Abuja. She listened quietly as Junior presented his idea. She didn't cut him off. She didn't smirk. She didn't ask why he wasn't in a suit or driving a fancy car. Instead, she saw something in him, something that reminded her of herself many years ago. Young, hungry, and overlooked. She too had started from nothing. No capital, no fancy office. Just an idea and a fire inside her chest. Until one day, someone took a chance on her. And maybe now, it was her turn to do the same. After the meeting, she looked him in the eye and said, gently but firmly, "Junior, I believe in you." With those 5 words, everything changed. Raquel backed him with real capital, enough to help him manufacture units of smart lock, build inventory, and market his idea to serious buyers. And the buyers came. Hotels that wanted to secure their booking systems, apartment complexes that needed smart protection, small businesses tired of digital threats. Word spread like wildfire. And in just 3 years, Smart Lock blew up. It went from a scrappy side hustle on a borrowed couch to a 7-figure cybersecurity business, all built by a boy nobody wanted, fueled by rejection and lifted by belief. He started hiring more people, young talents like him, hungry and driven. Smart Lock grew faster than he expected, and soon Junior bought his first car, then a house. Life was finally turning around. But one day, something pulled at his heart. He felt the need to return home, not for fame, not to show off. There was someone he had never forgotten. Fiona. She wasn't just a memory. She was the only light in those dark, hungry days. The woman who always had a kind word and a 500 note hidden beneath her fruit basket, just so he wouldn't go to bed hungry. The only person who treated him like he mattered. So he went. When he arrived in the small town, Uncle Silas and Rhoda were not even on his mind. His heart beat fast as he drove through the dusty, familiar streets. When he got close to where he remembered her fruit stand used to be, he parked quietly at a corner and stepped out of his car. It had been 15 years. He walked the rest of the way on foot. From a distance, he saw her, still there, still under that same old umbrella. The fruit stand looked a little older, but the woman behind it still had that same soft smile. She was gently peeling pineapples. As he stepped closer, her eyes flicked up to meet his, but she didn't recognize him. "How can I help you?" she asked politely, not knowing who he was. Junior smiled. "You already did 15 years ago." The moment she heard his voice, she froze. Her hand dropped the knife. Her eyes widened. Then she whispered, almost in disbelief, "Junior?" He nodded. And with tears in her eyes, she dropped everything and moved toward him, wrapping her arms around him tightly. "You look cleaner and taller," she laughed through her tears. Cars drove by. People passed and stared. But in that moment, none of them mattered. Because right there, on that street corner, the boy who had nothing and the woman who once gave him everything found each other again. "You're closing now. Your pains are over, Mama," Junior said softly, his voice filled with emotion. He took the basket from her, gently packed up the fruits, and helped her close the stand for the day. Fiona didn't fully understand what was happening, but she followed him quietly. Then Junior opened the door of a sleek black SUV parked nearby. She hesitated. He smiled. "Come, Mama. Let me take you home." The ride was quiet but peaceful. Fiona kept glancing at him. This grown man, now clean and confident, sitting behind the wheel. She couldn't believe he was the same boy she once gave a 500 to. They pulled up in front of a beautiful house in one of the town's busiest areas. Still confused, Fiona followed him as he opened the gate. The compound was clean, the flowers neatly trimmed, and the house freshly painted in soft cream and brown tones. When they stepped inside, Junior handed her a key. "Mama, "This is your home now," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "Everything here, it's yours." Fiona was stunned. She looked around at the spacious living room, the sparkling floors, the ceiling fans spinning gently above them. She couldn't speak. Tears filled her eyes. "Thank you," she finally whispered. But Junior shook his head gently. "No, Mama, I owe you thanks." He sat with her and told her everything. How she was the only one who ever showed him kindness. How her small acts gave him hope. How he left town with nothing but a scrapped laptop. He told her about working long nights at gas stations, sleeping outside restaurants after closing time, just to charge his laptop and connect to free Wi-Fi. "I took every small gig I could find. Removing viruses, fixing systems, building a security app I named Smart Lock." He shared it all. The hunger, the cold, the insults, the loneliness, and then the breakthrough. The one investor who believed in him, the rise of his company, the journey from the corner of a friend's garage to running a 7-figure business. Fiona sat silently, tears running down her cheeks. A few weeks later, Junior opened a large supermarket in the busiest part of town and handed it over to Fiona. It wasn't just a fruit stand anymore. It was a modern shop stocked with fruits, groceries, household items, and essentials. But Fiona didn't have to stand under the sun anymore. Junior hired full-time workers to run the place. He told her with a proud smile, "You have peeled pineapples for too long under the hot sun, Mama. Now, it's your time to rest." And for the first time in many years, Fiona finally did. Kindness is never wasted. One small act of love, even just a 500 note or a piece of fruit, can plant a seed that grows into a mighty tree. Never look down on anyone. Today's struggling child could be tomorrow's leader. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more powerful, emotional, and inspiring African tales like this one. Like, comment your thoughts, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story that could change someone's life.